Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Wheel Talk. I was about to say my old podcast name again.
Yeah.
Today we're joined by the biking lawyer, Dave Shellnut. Everybody, welcome. Woo.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a lawyer, unfortunately, but a lawyer for cyclists.
Hey.
I kind of was in a law job that didn't really love so much, sitting in Durham court reporting and realizing how much I didn't like my job.
Yeah.
And sort of got one cycling case here, got another cycling case there, and was commuting to work, almost getting cracked on every corner.
Yeah.
And sort of went down the rabbit hole
Right.
of cycling law for myself and for these odd few cases, and then
Right.
one thing led to another, and we've unfortunately got a business out of it.
Okay.
Right.
Were you a cyclist before you were a lawyer?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up cycling in the Blue Mountain area.
Okay.
So nice.
Road, mountain.
Yeah.
And then like in Guelph, where I live part-time as well.
Yeah.
Just when I was drunk, as transportation.
Best transportation when you're drunk,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I don't do that now. I don't do that now.
no.
Hey, that's a pass. That's a pass. None of these beers are his.
That's
These are
Let's
all
be clear.
mine.
Sober.
These are both mine.
Sober.
He's having water.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I moved to London for a bit for school and like ran a mountain bike camp there.
Hey.
So cycling's always been a feature of my life.
Okay.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And it kind of just like blended together as soon as you took up law.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was doing law and not loving it at all.
Oh, I
and
see, I
then
see.
finally realized that, for me to be happy in my work, I had
Yes.
to do things I was passionate
Sure.
about.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And that involves cycling.
That's awesome,
I
man.
understand that. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so when did you start like advocating for cyclists? Like when did you start like the biking lawyer, I guess?
That was like sort of symbiotic as well, because as I was commuting to work, like
Yeah.
it was the only way to do that from the West End downtown to my law job. Like transit was nuts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would there on a snowy day there'd be 150 people waiting for a streetcar, a single streetcar.
Yeah.
And you know what that smells like on a wet snowy day. So I just was like, I started cycling as commuting, and so
Yeah.
in doing that, I realized just like what we're up against, and how at the time poor the infrastructure was, and so saw what Cycle Toronto was doing and more radical advocates in the community space, and really fell in love with that and realized that to keep myself safe, I could be part of this community and work together for everybody.
Okay. So speaking of Cycle Toronto, what are they exactly? Like, what do they exactly do? Because he talks about Cycle Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm going to
and all
refrain
this
from this
stuff.
answer because I'm going to let you entirely answer this.
Yeah, because he talks about like what Cycle Hamilton does, right?
Yeah.
And then I never really hear about what Cycle Toronto does. So
There's a relationship there, and,
Yep.
and I see like I have familiarity with Cycle Hamilton, and I'm a board member on Cycle Toronto as of
okay.
last year.
Okay.
Years ago, I applied to be on their advocacy committee, but didn't make the cut. But now I've been asked to be on the board, and so I was elected.
That's awesome.
Cycle Toronto is the biggest cycling advocacy organization in the city, and what they do is they lobby government, propose plans for safe infrastructure, ways to open up cycling to the entire city.
Okay.
So a lot of the time has been seen getting these bike lanes that we see getting here downtown. And they've had a hand in all that, Bloor, Harvard, Adelaide, all those things throughout the years.
Yep.
And now there's a big push to reach communities, in the suburbs.
Perfect. Scarborough.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Working with those communities, obviously,
Yeah.
to say, hey, like, is this something that you would want? And or if not, what would help you get people on bikes and promote active transportation? And then facilitating and working with those groups to build them up. So
Okay.
it's our cyclists organization that like talks to government and get things done.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess that's awesome, because I think one of the things that we ran into at Cycle Hamilton, also something that we're kind of expressing from the cycling community, is that they just don't know what Cycle Toronto does.
Yeah.
in the same way that when I talk to people in Hamilton, they don't know what Cycle Hamilton does. So there is maybe a bit of a shortfall in the actual outreach to the community.
Big
of
time.
like, hey, we did this thing. Hey, we got this win. Hey, this is what we're doing for you. Hey, do you have any things we should be doing for you? Maybe that part's missing a bit.
Yeah.
That's all.
For sure. In the past, they had like what are called ward groups. So people from every ward in the city would come together and have like a Cycle Toronto branch. And that kind of like during the pandemic and just before it fell apart a bit and hasn't been the focus. But that was a great way to spread the message of what Cycle Toronto is doing and get community people on the ground in different areas working with Cycle Toronto and knowing what they're doing. So maybe there is that as they've become more like lobby focused and working on like policies and things like that, there's a disconnect that maybe what you're speaking of is demonstrating.
Yeah, that's what got me involved to that level, really, right? Knowing that those things are happening because you kind of see the results, but you don't know how it's happening. You do want to get involved. You want to know about these other things that maybe should be happening. So how do you communicate all of that? So it sounds like Cycle Toronto is doing God's work. And like, you got to tell the congregation, I guess, right? And that's, I think that's always going to be a challenge.
Sure.
Of like, how do you tell the congregation?
Yeah.
Is it just Instagram? Is it the website? Are you putting people to the website? Are you doing group rides? Are you doing right?
Yep.
I think that's going to always be a challenge. I just wanted to.
Because you have the Cycle Hamilton Bike Day,
Right.
for everybody. Like I haven't really seen stuff like that for Toronto.
We got one.
Did we?
Yeah. There'll be. It used to be a pancake breakfast, but I don't.
Oh.
There is like a
Okay,
coffee.
that I heard about. I think I saw the
Yeah,
one.
it's the
Oh,
same
okay.
day. It's the same
That
day.
was-
Oh, okay.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "That's a great idea. There should be food connected to cycling."
Right.
Yeah,
Shout
like
out
all the
Towns
time.
and Provisions, but
You know
I
what
mean,
There's always be food connected to cycling.
For sure.
But that's kind of funny. So Cycle Toronto is doing a bike day thing. I
Yep.
personally haven't seen any promo.
Yeah.
Like as a person that's kind of actually involved in looking into this kind of stuff, it's
I'm looking to see on the bike day post is not as prominent as it is on the Cycle Hamilton one. So there you go. We've had some staff turnover recently.
Yeah.
Our new ED stepping in. But yeah, for sure. Like bike day should be it's the kickoff of Bike Month.
Yeah. In June, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'd be snacks. I think some people should know about this.
That's awesome.
It used to be like my buddies and I would love that. It was the one day a year we would get involved with Cycle Toronto
Nice.
and go down and hear what's been happening.
Right.
That and the AGM. We wouldn't
Yeah.
do everything they do, but we would just go get connected at that time. So
Awesome.
that you haven't heard about it is distressing.
yeah, awesome.
Dave.
I'm also going to refrain from talking about snacks and food and bev.
another topic. Tell me more about the ward situation. How did that come about, and what is that like?
Yeah, it was like. So I because they didn't choose me for the team back
Sure, of
then,
course.
so I don't really know. No hard feelings.
Keep talking.
Basically, Toronto's divided up into wards, as you know, which elect a councillor.
Yes.
And so people in those wards would be expert on what the cycling and active transportation needs would be in that area. So
okay.
like, whatever ward I'm in, we would be advocating for bike lanes on College.
Right.
Or a connector that like gets over Dufferin safely, because we got Brock
course.
bike lanes and we've got Harvard bike lanes, but how do you connect those two
Safely.
things, or other cycling
Right.
issues as well. It's not all bike lanes.
Right.
True.
Oh, very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
I hope they bring that back. It's it's a ton of work. Obviously, while there is paid staff at Cycle Toronto, it's a nonprofit, so there's a lot of stuff
Yep.
that needs to be done that perhaps can't.
That's still very cool.
I think
that
that
there's
now
engagement.
Yeah.
would be the time to for Cycle Toronto to really push those wards back. Just because I feel like after the pandemic, the community just got so much bigger and so much more connected that like now you actually have people that can and would want to advocate for these things. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you,
By the way,
I'll step into
perfect
my
segue.
board. So we have we just had our board elections.
Yeah.
But all of the committees, advocacy, fundraising, anti-oppression, are all looking for members right now from all over Toronto. So like, if anybody wants to join in whatever capacity they can at Cycle Toronto, we need folks, and this is how like these committees inform the policy that pushes the organization.
Right.
So it's really cool stuff to be a part of.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
is there
Sounds
any
exciting.
chance that
I feel like
everything that he
football.
just said for the last 30 seconds can be snipped and then like
Oh, 100%.
right, and then we just hand that over to Cycle Toronto for a fee?
Yeah.
And,
We'll charge.
yeah.
No big deal.
Remember, nonprofit rates.
Nonprofit rate.
Because we're
Nonprofit rate.
nonprofit too. Right? So,
There's non-profit and no profit.
If anything, we're a lost profit.
last profit. Yeah, we're a lost
We lose
profit
profit
organization for sure. Yeah,
Ask them for a grant, maybe.
yeah. There we go.
Oh man, that would get something cool.
Yeah,
Get us a T-shirt made at least.
sure.
It starts at t-shirts then it's snacks after that.
Oh, snacks, dude.
Yeah.
We can all use some maybe some branding lessons. Obviously, you're doing amazing job.
Yeah.
The fit's amazing.
Where'd
I have
you
to
get that,
compliment
man?
you on the fits. I want to tell you earlier, but you know what? I figured this would be more impactful.
Appreciate it.
This
Did you get
looks
that made?
genius.
Yeah,
My wife designed it.
Get out of here!
Yeah,
Shout
yeah,
out.
dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amplify Apparel.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
give that a shout out, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
she's-
amazing.
She's incredible. Yeah, we did this and sort of more casual shirts this year, and then we have like road cycling kit, which we premiered at Paris Dancaster. A bunch of our mutual
What?
friends
What?
were racing them. But it was
Man.
so muddy
You
that you couldn't see it,
Couldn't see
like,
it.
at all. It was like covered.
Within
so-
minutes, just covered.
Yeah. So at the end of
Did
the
you
race-
ride the P2A or
I
you
did,
just?
I did,
How
yeah.
was that for you?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I like I said, I grew up mountain biking, and so like I was
Yes,
addicted
yes.
to mud
Of
and
course.
puddles and stuff. So I was.
So
in
you're
my,
in your
So
element,
that's all
right?
for
was in
you.
my
Yeah,
element,
that's
I
all
realized.
you.
We
Mud,
probably
sweat,
found the only
gears, man.
person who was in their element that
Right.
day.
Yeah.
Everyone else
Everyone else
crying.
was cussing. Yeah. so much cussing.
But we all got sick. So.
Oh no!
Well,
Cold,
maybe this
sweating.
isn't at the topic, but this is PC enough. Yeah. It's like farm field manure time.
Damn.
But it was pouring rain, and
Damn.
you're through those fields, and so it was getting whipped up into your face from the
Wow.
people in front of you.
Yeah.
Pile of shit in your face.
And like everybody, like I've talked to more than a handful
Yeah.
of people, we all got sick.
Wow!
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
yeah.
I wonder
Wow,
how.
props to everyone
Oh,
again.
geez.
Yeah.
Support your
Wow.
local farmers, guys.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
You do.
Shit in your face, and it's like 5 degrees that day, or it was like
Wow.
really cold.
It was
I
really
remember
bad.
that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Ain't got
Yikes.
nothing on Tough Mudder, eh? Oh my
But dude,
God.
one of the most impressive things was like the bikes that came out afterwards were so clean.
No.
No, well, no.
Me-
Well, Jen, you guys had a power washing station, right?
There was one, yeah.
Yeah, that,
That
like,
was genius.
got rid of
was that the
everything
first
so
year
fast.
that you guys did something like that?
No, they always do that, and it's like you pay a small fee, and it's for a
Right.
local bike shop.
Okay.
That does a bunch of community work as well. So yeah, it was a no-brainer on this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
great cleaning of the bikes.
Yeah.
Is there also cleaning of the people?
No,
Yeah. Right. See.
it was.
He just
Power
pulls
wash
everyone
people
down.
anymore.
Step through like. Can you imagine?
that like community center like exposed the worst of the cycling community. Like
Oh no.
the people were in the
Oh,
public
no.
bathrooms, like there was mud on the walls.
Oh no.
And like people were cleaning their shoes in the sink, and I'm like, why
Oh,
would you
Jesus.
do that? Like full of mud, like dude, go outside and click it.
God.
And so like the water was off.
Oh,
like,
no.
How much it cost to redo that community
You guys
center.
didn't have like a
God.
Sprite
Wow.
zone, like
yeah, just to walk through.
You know, that thing with kids you slide through, but
That
you're
would've-
adult size.
That would have
Yeah.
been good, actually.
You know what I'm saying? Oh my
Just a
goodness.
slip and
awesome,
slide, just to
man.
clean
Slip and
yourself
slide,
off.
yeah. Into like a small pool. That'd be amazing.
So you
Yikes.
did a race this morning.
Well, yeah, it's a race. It was like a charity ride,
Okay.
race kind of thing, with put on by some of the folks that do the Substance Projects races.
What's that about?
It's like interesting, gnarly gravel rides.
Oh.
And this one was an interesting, gnarly gravel ride, but for Daily Bread Food Bank.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool.
Oh,
Nice, man.
Substance Projects on Instagram, right?
Exactly.
Hey, nice.
These are my favorite bike races.
Wow,
I shouldn't say
yes.
that.
Yeah.
They're my favorite bike races.
Very cool, very cool.
so
I totally follow them.
Super interesting. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what other projects do you have going on?
Oh. What?
Wow,
There's a
Pandora's
I
box.
hear-
Yeah.
There's a
How
lot.
much
So,
time
like-
you got, Jay?
I know you moved, like, you had a push to go to Hamilton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why, like, why Hamilton? Why not like Burlington, Oakville? Like, why not like start in those areas before?
I've never heard anybody say, why not Burlington? No, that's Burlington.
Yeah.
We showed Burlington love yesterday with our Ghost Bike Memorial. So that,
Yeah.
no offense,
Oh
Burlington.
man, we're sad we missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We passed right through.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was powerful. We can talk about that in a bit, but yeah, we decided Hamilton. It's close to it's part of the GTHA as people call it. We have clients there, and we really loved what Cycle Hamilton was doing
Okay.
from an advocacy space. Last year, we saw like 9 vulnerable road users killed by June. And really wanted to work with community to uplift their efforts and support their efforts to push back against that and make some changes, because Hamilton's an incredible city. Half of my friends moved there during the pandemic.
Yeah, half the team actually almost already did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
one of them is.
in about 2 weeks.
Hey,
Yeah, in
is.
about 2 weeks it's official. So,
So-
I'm doing the same move you're doing.
Exactly. So there's
So now we know
familial
why.
and friend connections, and it's a great place to ride. Like, they have some really cool infrastructure, and then it backs like right onto the escarpment, and you can be on like no car rail trails to
Wow.
Brantford
Yep.
and Caledonia.
Had to put those tubeless
Kilometers.
wheel set to work, Jay.
And
Dude,
they are
you're
beautiful.
like really selling us
Yeah.
to move to Hamilton.
They are beautiful. Yeah.
City of Hamilton should throw some coins our way for this broadcast.
You know?
Oh, I've been trying. I've been trying for the last 4 or 5 recordings. I've been trying. I've gotten nothing yet. But,
Beautiful Hamilton.
yeah,
Come experience it.
exactly.
Come see the Nomads.
So that like, and then I had a friend who has like a labor law firm with some space there, and
Oh,
we were
wow.
talking, and like, we got a bunch of clients here. We want to serve more people in Hamilton.
Yeah.
We're invested in the community, so we went.
That's awesome, man. That's a good move. That's a good move. How far is, like, I guess, the reach for Cycle Toronto and then Cycle Hamilton? Is there anything in between, or is it's kind of just like no man's land in between?
No, it's super interesting. Like, every community has its own advocacy groups.
Okay.
In various ways, right?
Okay.
And so Mississauga Cycling and there's Safe Streets Halton.
Okay.
And like, we were at the Burlington ride yesterday. There's a bunch of local folks who do a lot of work as well.
Okay.
So no, it's not. There's tons of people doing stuff.
Okay.
And that's why, like, although yesterday was unfortunate because it was like we're riding because
Yeah.
someone was killed, it's a great way to find connections and intersections between our groups, because we have a united front from Hamilton to Toronto
Yeah.
to Durham. And we're all advocating for the same thing. That's how
Yeah.
we're going to get real changes, you know?
Yeah, because like the reason I asked was because like Hamilton has, according to Paul, has, and you now has really great cycling infrastructure, and then I feel like Toronto, yeah, you know what I mean. And then as you move out of Toronto, it kind of just gets a little bit better and better, and it's like I feel like as Toronto, like we're like falling behind on that.
Preaching to the choir, man.
A lot of things
Agreed.
were done well during the pandemic, and we got like years ahead, and like they're putting this stuff up. Like, I drove here and risked my life biking along College in the construction,
Right.
But it's going to be a good bike lane, you know?
Okay.
So we've got some things that are good, but yeah, we got a long way to go.
Okay, yeah,
We
for
are
sure.
like, this is like the biggest city in Canada. No shade, the best city in Canada. We should be a leader in everything, but certainly
100%.
transportation, active transportation. You know? And, like,
100%.
anybody who drives in this city, which I do too, knows that there's major problems. So like, we need to get people out of cars.
Yeah.
The place is choked.
Yeah, I think a part of that problem is the political will, right? Like, we're still it's still odd that we're kind of 50-50 politically in deciding between getting people on bikes and getting people in cars. Because
Yeah.
there are people that are still arguing that, bike lanes screw up traffic.
Yeah.
And, these cyclists don't know what they're doing on the road, they shouldn't be on the road.
Yeah.
So it's weird to be in a first-class city like this,
Yeah.
but to still have those kinds of arguments about how people move around. I don't know why it's still a discussion. We've
Yeah.
seen it work
Yeah.
in other places. So
And people
It's
who
odd.
say that, like, they don't have the data or the stats to back it up. Like the
Right.
data and the stats are behind safe infrastructure.
Right.
They're behind getting people out of cars.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a climate emergency. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not the time to double down on like, you know, a 7-lane highway. You know,
Right.
It's the time to look at alternatives to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names because I don't think any of those people need any attention. Like I don't
Right.
want. I
Right.
see them
Sure.
online like saying, "Oh, rip out bike lanes." I don't want to say their name because you don't need shine from any of us, good
Yeah.
or bad. You know,
Right.
like that's just like a stupid thing to say.
This is a good time to remind that there's a municipal election for mayor coming up. Do your part.
Yeah.
That's all.
Absolutely.
For sure. We like historically underperformed in voting for the mayoral office last year. Or
29%?
Last
Yep.
election, and
29% was it?
Yeah, and like, look, we got another Tory term. We need to. It looks like there's progressive candidates that are in the lead, but like it's so hard to predict if no one votes, and just people. It'll be a toss up. So get out there, vote. There's tons of information on the city. I believe even Instagram page about where you can do that and how.
Yeah.
Amazing. Do you mind if I ask, what can you tell us about the bike brigade?
What do you want to know? So
Everything.
Everything.
The bike brigade is like something that myself and other cyclists started 3 days into the pandemic.
No kidding.
We got locked
Wow.
down March 13th,
Awesome.
and on March 16th we hit the streets.
What?
That's wicked.
Delivering for people in need, and
Wow.
we have done so to this day. And like last week we had 250 different deliveries.
Oh, wow.
We delivered food every day of the week and supplies to folks in need.
That's
we work with
awesome.
food banks.
I love it.
Shelter system organizations, indigenous groups, and we even like pet rescue groups. We deliver food for pets to folks in
So
need.
what was what was the outreach? How far did you get out to in terms of delivering?
Distance?
Yeah.
We're pretty like core focused. Like we wouldn't go initially, and probably still we don't go past Jane.
Okay.
And we don't go much north at St. Clair.
Sure.
We have the east side. We've always had deliveries over there, but not as many.
Sure.
Woodbine kind of thing.
Okay.
St. Clair. Wow, that's-
Hundreds of volunteers. It's all run by volunteers. We've got one paid staff that we have now. It's an incredible group of people. Like really.
I
blows my
heard
mind.
about the initiative through the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and I think at the time I was sort of a new cyclist. I didn't know how you could contribute, and I saw how simple it was to do. So I signed up. Haven't gone yet, but I want to.
Come on, that's good.
But I want to just keep in tune to see if there was anything out east, and there was nothing that I found out there. So I had to come find my way into the city in order to help contribute.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe there might be places out east that might need that support. So I'd love to see if that was pushing out there. If anything, I would love to help support that.
We're always looking for new partners.
That's awesome.
We do weekly rides in Flemington Park.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that's not like east. That's kind of its own island up there. We do pickups from Allen Gardens Food Bank,
Yes.
and then go east from there, though not across the DVP.
Sure.
We had a partner that we picked up on Dawes Road and then
Wow.
dropped all on the east side up until a couple of weeks ago, but they've taken a break.
I see.
Okay.
But yeah, just keep checking the emails, and if something pops up, or if you ever want to we have these incredible farmers market ones during the week, and like on an evening, you come by my office and we'll go down to Trinity Bellwoods together. We'll load up and we can drop it to community fridges from here to the east end.
That's amazing.
Because there's they always have a farmers market by the underpass park,
Which one's that?
like the
Yeah, in the
underpass
summer.
market.
Which is Underpass Park?
At River.
River Street.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the Corktown.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Canary District.
So I know. Yeah,
Corktown,
I know
yeah,
they always
very-
have like. I always see them. They're across from the skate park.
Yeah.
And they always just have like a farmers market there.
Yeah. I think-
Yeah.
It's just about like making those connections, and like we just through Community Fridges Toronto
Yeah.
said, hey, like instead of transporting stuff that you're probably not going to sell back at the end of the night to your farms,
Yeah.
like why don't you donate a bit of it, and we take fresh produce to Community Fridges. So I'll check on that one.
Yeah, because I think if you're like trying to move out east a little bit,
Yeah.
that's a good starting point because it's
It's a great
You
idea.
know, it's just right there,
It's
right?
a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fridge on Pape.
Yes. Like Pape and what, like Carlisle Queen or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's one a bit north of that too. There's at least 2 fridges on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be a great pickup point.
Yeah,
Holy
man.
crow. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, check
Yeah.
that out because I always see it's always busy too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good one. And they do it a few times
Underneath
a week.
there, eh?
Underneath the bridge, yeah.
Super rad.
Across from
Yeah.
where the skate park is and the basketball courts. So on the other side of it, there's
Yeah, nice.
that whole area they do
Yeah.
the market.
So if anyone, for the uninitiated,
Uh-huh.
how would one get started? So if I'm just a normal cyclist and I hear about Bike Brigade and I it's a worthy cause and I want to donate my time,
Yeah.
what would I do?
I think let me just say a big misconception is that like, oh, I need this huge carrying capacity to do it. Yes and no. Some campaigns you do need a big carrying capacity, and having a cargo bike would help, or a trailer. But each campaign we identify the size by measurements and recommend what you could use, and they vary. So those farmers market ones is just like carry what you can.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like during the winter, I have a bit more capacity on my winter bike.
Nice.
But right now, I'm like on my fixie, and I have a messenger bag, and I deliver a Bike Brigade like that.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Get over it. You don't worry about capacity.
Right.
You get it'll be fine.
Right.
Then just go to the website, sign up to volunteer, and you'll get a weekly email. And the email will list campaigns, and it's your choice.
Yes.
So you go through and you say, oh, this doesn't work for my schedule this
Right.
week, but maybe this one does.
Yes.
And you just pick at your own pleasure.
That's awesome.
And then once
Okay.
and if you're a new rider, obviously you get an initiation email and probably a tank top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Working towards my tank top, baby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Might
So-
join you on one of those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
I would really love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Anytime.
awesome.
That's really awesome. You're not doing this. Are you doing this in Hamilton too, or? Future state.
Funny.
Not yet. Not yet. Thoughts about moving to Hamilton for the Bike Brigade?
We twice have tried. Like from the early days in the pandemic, someone reached out to us, and we provided the supports to be able to do it. Because like our tech team has created this like app system that makes it makes the whole thing easy.
Oh, wow.
You get like you sign up for something, you get a message to your phone, you click the link, and it
Yep.
provides everything. It even auto populates the text you send to the recipient.
Oh, wow.
Gives you the map, the time, all the details. So we offered that to some folks in Hamilton, and like volunteering is tough.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so folks just didn't have capacity, and we tried again, and then didn't happen again. So we're still here. If any municipality, and we've talked to Halifax as well.
Ooh, wow, Halifax.
If anybody wants to sort of do what incredible cyclists are doing here in Toronto, we've got an easy package for them to do.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's
One last thing I
wicked.
want to find out. So, working with the cycling community, as long as you have been, what's the most interesting that you've come across in that period of time? That's come out of that was like sort of organic. That wasn't planned.
I don't know. That's really an interesting. I know, like, for me, from my perspective.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that is like. That's certainly not the thing or the best thing. And it's all like in cycles too, right? Like people before I got involved in the scene, there was like a group that painted gorilla bike lanes on Bloor.
I love it.
That's awesome.
In the early 2000s.
I love
And
it.
just created
Awesome.
bike lanes
Just
because
painted it.
and it was like
I
and
love
that
it.
like inspired me to do what I do today. Like that kind of
I absolutely love
that
it.
kind of advocacy.
Kudos to that. Wow.
Yeah.
So what
totally.
about like
We did talk
gorilla
about tickets.
parking tickets?
We did talk about tickets.
I have a bike brigade friend that created stickers.
Wow.
I'm like, maybe don't stick those on people's cars.
Magnets. I think magnets would be good.
That would
you know,
be-
Yeah,
That
just a
would be-
magnet on the bumper.
a little more expensive, but I think it would work.
It
Yeah.
does. But for me, like, I guess it sort of bleeds in together. Like in 2020, you saw the second Black Lives Matter movement, and it really called into question some of the issues we have in our own cycling community.
At large, yes.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I am largely immune from those issues, given my positionality. But friends aren't, and like I can tell you, my wife's first Cycle Toronto event like experienced some like anti-blackness. So that, seeing what happened after that, then the ripple effects that still to this day that we're working on, I think is the greatest thing. Like, we had huge critical masses of hundreds of cyclists, against police violence and
Yes.
against anti-blackness in Toronto.
We did a few of those last year.
And well, these were in 2020.
Yeah, I
and
remember
then we
those
did,
ones,
we
yeah.
did huge ones. We circled Queen's Park.
And just
Oh.
kept doing
just
circles. I
looped
remember
it.
that one. Yeah, it was huge.
And
Completely covered University Ave.
and that, like,
Damn.
It was wild.
that has, like,
Yeah.
carried over, and, like, Cycle Toronto now, like, because of, like, concerns from non-white community members, like, have stopped engaging with police and bringing police on rides, because that doesn't make them feel, that doesn't make members feel safe. And so, like, the change in thinking that's happening now is really, I think, for me, that's really stuck out. And it, like, that really was broadly tapped into when we were being targeted by police last summer in High Park. And we all rode together at High Park in August
Yep.
after a woman had been knocked off her bike by an off-duty cop,
Yeah.
and after a guy was hit by a cop who rolled a stop sign while he was there ticketing people for rolling stop signs.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
And so
my
the
God.
whole community was galvanized, and you saw what I would say is 1,000 people on bikes
Easily.
from every corner
Easily.
of our
Dude,
community.
I remember
Yeah,
that ride.
that was
That was
nice.
amazing.
That was a nice
From
one,
every
too.
corner of our community.
Yep.
We're all represented. Kids,
Yeah.
people on three-wheelers. And that's, like, just that, like, from that 2020 moment has shown that we're continuing to learn and grow in better ways. And for me, that's, like, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, I guess I kind of in some ways feel like I'm slowly getting more and more and more and more involved.
Oh, you're diving in deep, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Come on,
Right?
man.
Because it
You're on the board, bro.
He's like,
You're in.
it was a pretty far fall into now, like, being on a board, I guess. And one of the things that I've noticed, or at least in my experience, is that the community is pretty together when it comes to things like that, and also getting, like, more together when it comes to things like that. And so that's something that I don't really experience in any other recreational sport kind of community, right? So I guess I love the fact that we're able to kind of keep people engaged and together on stuff like that.
Yeah.
So just want to hear more about it, right? Because sometimes within the cycling community, you also get those divisive arguments about just stupidness
Yeah.
when we're all really trying to do the same thing. And so events like that was a reminder that we're all trying to do the same thing. Events like Burlington that you went to, we couldn't make it.
Yeah.
We're all trying to do the same thing. Just get to work, just enjoy your times on bike, right?
Yeah.
So, going back to what you said earlier about Burlington, how was that? And, like, kind of what happened? Like,
Like, what happened that brought us there?
yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, last Thursday we learned that a cyclist was not only hit from behind and killed on the roadside,
no.
but the driver had
left.
fled the scene.
Yeah.
The ultimate form of cowardice, and that really grinds our gears, And so when a cyclist dies in the GTA, mostly. Respect for advocacy for respect for cyclists is the group who does ghost bike memorials.
Yeah.
And they leapt into action to see if the family could be contacted and if this is something that they want a memorial, but B, to go there and place the memorial. We like to do so in large numbers so that we can be seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a purpose behind that. And then we put that bike there so that people know that someone was killed here, and that's a forever memory that happened. And it's so more tragic because they had just redone that area and did not put in a bike lane, and
Yep.
ultimately I think they put in a painted bike lane.
Painted, yeah.
But that is
It's
not
not
safe
safety,
infrastructure. I have been hit myself.
Really?
In
Dude,
a painted
multiple
bike
times.
lane and broke my wrist and my elbow. Paint
Yeah.
does not a bike lane make.
No.
Damn.
So we went there, and the numbers were like there was 50, 75 people. and we rode on busy streets and let them know that we're there, and it was really powerful.
good.
Members of the family came and
Oh, wow.
and like I couldn't believe it.
Amazing.
Like, so much grace and control of emotion that I could never
Yeah.
I could never have.
Yeah.
Came and spoke to us, and that was really special.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, the group advocacy for respect for cyclists has been doing this for well over a decade, and
Yeah.
they're like some of the old guard cycling advocates in the city of Toronto. So it's and I've kind of joined as like a junior. I go by
Yeah.
the chain, you know. And,
Yeah.
and it's really like these folks really do something that's important to us and for us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. Like the amount of, like, I guess, togetherness the cycling community has like gotten to recently. I've noticed it more like recently, maybe because we've been going out a lot
Yeah.
more and like meeting people, but like I never really heard of like any sort of big groups gathering,
Yeah.
like in Toronto, especially like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, never heard of that. And then
Yeah.
now all of a sudden it's just like everyone's out, everyone's together, and it's in mass too.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think
Yeah.
I could admit that I can admit that I'm maybe 2020 I definitely didn't want to be called a cyclist. Right? And it's kind of partially because of the stigma
Yeah.
that goes along with that title that I felt at that point. And then as you get more and more and more involved, you realize that well, it's more than that, right? It's more
Everyone
than just
on bike is a cyclist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like riding bikes, and if you like riding bikes, there's a lot of people that also like riding bikes. And
Yeah.
so, I guess a part of me is like excited when you see that kind of togetherness for the event, like in Burlington. It does sometimes feel like those are the only times that you get that type of gathering of cyclists. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you'd want to kind of see that more. So do we have to wait for somebody to get injured or killed like that to be protesting these painted bike lanes, these not proper infrastructure for cyclists? Do we have to wait for that?
Yeah, I mean, isn't that it? And that's like, I think that's our whole political process, you know? Like,
Yeah.
people aren't engaged unless the house is burning.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I think maybe no, in a way, like, yes, in a way, that is the only time when people get out. But there are lots of things happening, and like, Cycle Toronto is one group, but there are a dozen more doing work in Toronto. You know, and that's the same in other municipalities. So while we may not like be coming together and doing like big public rides and stuff like that all the time, or when we do, it's for a tragedy. Behind the scenes stuff is happening. Like, look, the bike brigade, for example. Last week, people on bikes, 250 deliveries were made to folks in need.
Amazing.
That's impactful.
Absolutely.
You know, that's our community
Huge.
being, and that's run by all volunteers.
I love
These
it.
people are incredible.
Yeah.
That's the cycling community coming together
Yes.
every week.
Yes.
And that happens in other places as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Whew, let's lighten this up.
Yeah. Totally.
And
gonna-
drop mic.
Yeah, we're gonna
But
lighten this
no.
up a bit. Go ahead.
Hype, like, so we see parks like in New York City, Central Park, very like open to cyclists, no cars at all in Central Park, and you know, people are there having fun, enjoying it. What's your thoughts of that coming to Toronto, like Hyde Park? It's a smaller park, but it's like that's kind of the only one we really have where it's shared like that. You know what I mean? You think that's ever gonna come to Toronto where we can have our shared like park just for people and cyclists and no cars whatsoever?
Yeah, I mean, listen, shout out to Safe Parkside. This is a group that has really pushed for that exact thing.
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, because people needed outdoor space, they shut the park down on weekends to only to no cars, right?
Yeah.
So that only started then. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's
I
still
thought
going
that was
on,
every.
right? Like
No.
that just happened,
wow.
like again, where they shut down the weekend for cars.
And so they were going to like, so that happened, and then there was a huge assessment from last summer and public consultations
Yeah.
to now, like a couple of weeks ago, I guess, about like, okay, what should be done? Should we revert back
Right.
to cars all the time?
Yeah.
Should we keep that only? Is there other hybrids? Should we go fully no cars?
Yeah.
And like there was huge amount of surveys, and it was like 75% were like probably no cars.
Yeah.
But because Toronto can often be a middling city,
Yeah.
we didn't go for that
Right.
greatness. You know,
Yeah.
we have like the city came back, and like I get it, staff are under pressure from political people, but like they came back with a hybrid model where they would allow cars in at all times, and we'd lose our 2 days on the weekends, but they would change the infrastructure a bit
Busted.
or make part.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a bit. It was
It's
weird.
weird.
And then, but I think we're gonna get the 2 days are gonna be kept.
Okay.
So we're gonna get no cars for 2 days, and then like the top loop, I think, is no cars, but you can still access it through other ways with
Right.
Parking lots and stuff like
Right. Yeah.
that. So it's like a compromise, but like this is a once in 10-year opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
To create a park, like a world-class park.
Yes.
Yeah, because like, listen, like I get it. You know, what I mean, there was what like a baseball area, like people play sports
Yeah.
there, so I get it. Like you'd want to be able to park in there just to get your kids closer to the pitch or whatever, right, to the field. But like going through the entire park, man,
That sounds
when
like a
there's-
shuttle to me. I don't, you know what
There's
I mean?
people,
That could
yeah,
be,
a shuttle would be better.
Yeah.
like, you know,
That was exactly it, and then
Yeah.
like all these.
there's that little train that goes around there all the time.
That needs to go. That needs, but like all these like faux disability advocates were like, well, think of disabled people can't access the park, and it was like, well, obviously, the solution to a no car individual cars owned by private citizens is not an equitable way to
Right.
deal with disability. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
the plan would be, if you make it car free all the time, to have better than a train,
Yes.
but like a legit shuttle system
Yes.
that
Yeah.
helps people.
yes.
Right.
like those community buses that go around, like
Yeah,
in place of the bus.
You could have something on call. You
Yeah.
could like anything. For families who want to bring their gear in, okay, the gear comes in on the bus. Like
Yeah.
there was a million solutions, but they just didn't reach for it. Unfortunately, we'll see. And like a big thing that my buddy Michael Longfield, who's the new ED of Cycle Toronto, and I have been talking about, all the problems last summer in High Park were because of conflicts between, allegedly, conflicts between pedestrians and cyclists. But none of the plans address those conflict points.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like, why are we changing this park if one of the concerns that led to such issues isn't
being dealt with?
Yeah.
Right.
So like, we're still gonna have police in the park, and it's just gonna be. And I know people that don't go there anymore to cycle because they feel unsafe. The cops are there 24/7.
Speaking of that, like, what should cyclists do, like, when cops like approach them? Like, are you supposed to stop? Can you just keep going? Like, do you have to stop?
We've written.
Catch me if you can.
Yeah, like, because
in the
I'm
back
never
of my
gonna
mind,
stop.
that's what I'm
Like, you know what I
saying.
mean? Like, I would never stop for a cop. Like,
Full tuck.
Well,
I don't know about that.
you know what I
Let me-
mean? Like,
let me
I would
put-
never.
I'll
Like,
put-
why
I'll-
would I waste my time? Like, I'm trying to go
Did you
somewhere.
pay his
I'm
fee
trying
already?
to do something.
Are you sure he's is he on the team? Are you sure you wanna?
I will just say, like, these guys are very dangerous.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They resort to violence in a bizarre amount of situations.
Yeah.
And that's like really, it's really
unheard of.
scary. And there's no accountability. So like,
Yeah.
running away from them comes with a huge amount of risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wrote a blog post on how to interact with police. They,
Yes.
pursuant to the Highway Traffic Act, if they say stop, you have to, because they may, like, if you violate the Highway Traffic Act, they can charge you, so they can stop you, just like they can stop a vehicle. And they can ask you to identify yourself. Don't give them your driver's license, don't give them any ID. Under the Highway Traffic Act, you're only required to give your name and address truthfully. If you lie about that, that could be some criminal charges, so it's not worth it.
Oh, okay.
And we say only do that because giving ID can result in all sorts of other issues for you.
Yeah.
Give the ID, identify yourself, say, officer, am I being charged or detained? If they're charging you with a Highway Traffic Act infringement, zip your lips, take it, get out of there, and get to safety.
Yeah.
If they're detaining you, then say,
Watch my
nothing-
bike, please?
Say, Yeah.
Who's
Probably
watching my bike?
say that, but don't say nothing until you speak to a lawyer.
Right.
AKA you.
Well,
He might know. He might know.
The
a guy.
number suddenly pops up at the bottom of the screen. Right?
you want a criminal lawyer, but of course we take calls like all the time from
Yeah.
cyclists in need. But these are dangerous interactions, and we hope people don't have to experience them. But if they do,
Right.
just like and like we can tell you the law behind it.
Right.
But like if you are a Black or Indigenous person, even if the law is on your side or you have rights, like we know that does. So just do whatever is safe for your situation.
So what you're trying to say is know your rights?
Know your rights, but like know that in interactions with police, they
Yes.
don't always apply.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
your safety is paramount.
Oh.
Comply, don't argue, and just ask if there's bystanders. Ask them to help, like record what's happening.
That's crazy. Because like in my immediate thought is like, if my safety comes first.
GTFO?
That means get the fuck out. Like I'm not stopping for you. Sorry, bro. I can't hear you. Headphones. Ah.
It's funny how similar that
Oh,
similar
Top
that
Gear
answer
right
actually
now.
sounds to like the speech that I used to get as a kid. Like as a black kid, just hey, if the cops are pulling you over, just do what they say, stay safe,
Yeah.
Answer their questions, get out safely, right? That's
crazy.
It's interesting, yeah.
And it's weird too, because it's like it almost feels like you have to have a camera on you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
My
sometimes you
GoPro's on
just,
the other table, actually.
yeah, sometimes you just don't
Yeah.
want to be riding around with a camera. Like
Well, you need the one in the
hassle.
front,
Like
the one in the back,
front, yeah.
and then
It's-
one on your
it's a
body,
hassle, yeah.
and maybe one on your helmet too, just in case. And like,
Do you guys ride with cameras?
I have a 360 cam, yeah,
Yeah, nice.
yeah. So that way I know if a cop's coming behind me. Like,
He knows when's the...
yeah,
I never thought of it like keeping a camera on for safety until I think the new Varia came out.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
damn, that's
Doesn't
that's
matter. Doesn't
genius.
yeah,
So I mean, and I don't think that people pay attention when. Sorry, I don't think people pay attention when other things happen to someone else, like a cyclist.
For
it's
sure.
not, on their purview.
Mm-hmm.
How can we look out for ourselves as individual cyclists when we're on our own?
yeah.
I don't know what's there for me, but I think understanding interactions with police and interactions with other cyclists, because I've had other friends literally run into another cyclist and not sure how to deal with that. What should we know about that?
Oh, I don't talk about law against cyclists. I'm just kidding.
It's a weird conflict.
It happens. It happens on an infinitely less, like in an infinitely less regular scale than
Right.
people getting hit by motor vehicles.
Yes.
So once in a blue moon,
Right.
I'll get a story, right? And it's just like the standard rules of negligence and injury apply.
Right. Yeah.
Exchange information, make sure
Right.
the person gets to the hospital. Like you have a duty as a citizen. It's the same thing as
Yes.
like if you are biking and someone's off leash dog runs and hits you and you fall.
Right.
Yeah.
Take that person's information and go to the
course.
hospital.
Right.
And that's the same thing with the cyclist.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
tried to go to the hospital for a reason. They didn't look stuff on my bike, so I left.
Yeah, this is when you slammed in the back of a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with
And,
that. I didn't want to deal with that.
Bike was
loss.
okay.
So legally,
Yeah.
it was his negligence.
Yes, my own problem.
But
he was
there was a
distracted
lot
on
of
the road.
distraction on the road.
He was distracted.
On the street.
And slammed into the back of a white van, but was seemingly more concerned about his bike than about his own face.
Well, I would have asked, is the van parked illegally?
The van was parked illegally.
Was it?
It was.
Sue the van.
Was it
The
actually?
van was because it was in front of Earl's on Dundas. You can't park
Oh
there.
my god!
So it was.
You know what?
I didn't
Everyone,
know
you
that.
gotta get this guy's number on a speed dial, because if he's not the first person you call,
Yeah.
and the other person beat you to it,
That's it. Because yeah, he was parked illegally. The van was sitting right there with one door open, I think.
I don't remember
No,
that.
it wasn't. He was just sitting inside.
He was just sitting
'Cause,
inside.
yeah, he was like
door
in
was
front of
closed. He
Earl's.
was just sitting inside.
Crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
just in front of Earl's there.
What do you know, man?
I mean, you're not like completely blameless. Of
course.
But we're just like a percentage, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a numbers game. You let us worry about that. We'll figure it out.
Jesus.
Yeah. Are we allowed to know what the
I know, right?
distraction was?
I know.
Or,
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think
No,
so.
you
But
cannot.
at the same time, stuff like that, you wouldn't. Who would you talk to about that?
Yeah.
True.
Right? Yes.
Because like, so I've had an incident where I have a couple incidents where like I've hit a car making a right turn.
Oh, man.
But I was like looking to see if I can pass him, and he was still there, and I was already kind of like too late. When I looked back, like he was still there. Like his side was clear, like to turn to make his turn. So I kind of just did like
Whatever
tuck
you
and roll kind of thing. Like I
in.
slammed into him, and I rolled, like flipped over his car, and like just landed on the tracks.
You're
And then
passing on the right,
I was passing on the left. Yeah, and he was making a right turn. I was passing on the left.
but yeah.
But you
And
weren't far enough
because it
left.
was like there's streetcars, right? So I looked over to see if I can pass, but I was going like a little fast. And then I looked. As soon as I looked, he was still there, and his turn was clear.
Yeah.
And then he just drove off. Right?
Was
like,
there a car parked illegally?
no,
See?
no.
So that seems
No.
to be a
That's,
pretty
that's
high
a
on
good
the
one,
list.
man. That's a good one, man.
That's
But,
high on the list. Yeah.
the way I look at it is like I wasn't hurt, so I was kind of like whatever. Like call my dad, pick up my bike, so I can go to work.
Yeah.
The second time, I got T-boned. I was riding on the sidewalk when I was like younger, but I was riding on the sidewalk coming from the gym, and then I make eye contact with this driver, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm crossing, right? As soon
He
as
said, "Nah."
as soon as my
you're
wheel
not.
hit the curb, he just decided to drive into me, and I'm like holding onto this guy's hood, like, bro, can you stop? Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's like I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah.
That's a really common thing. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Guelph, and like, I don't know if anybody grew up in a suburb, but like, biking on the road there, especially as a young person, it's
Sometimes
like
scary.
60 to 8, it's 60, but it's 80.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, so you bike on the sidewalk because it's safer. In some municipalities, like Markham, there's like an unwritten rule that's like, bike on the sidewalk. We're not going to give you a shit about it.
Yeah.
And what I want cyclists to know is that even if like you're biking in a crosswalk or you're coming off a sidewalk
Yeah.
into an intersection and you get hit, and even if the police give you a ticket for it, that does not mean that you don't have a claim. Like,
Okay.
I'm going to trial in October over a client of mine who was hit in a crosswalk at Dundas and Dovercourt.
Yeah.
And yes, that person shouldn't have been cycling in the crosswalk, but you as a driver can't be on your phone and hit kids in crosswalks
Yeah.
on
Well,
bikes, you know,
damn.
like so
Yeah.
it's called contributory negligence, and so it's like a fight about percentages.
Yeah,
There's a
okay.
famous case about a cop who hit a guy up in Aurelia, nighttime, no lights on his bike, riding in a crosswalk, all dark clothing and drunk. But the judge found all those things as it is, you, officer, should have still seen him under the streetlight, and so you are 60% liable
Yeah.
for this collision.
Oh.
And cyclist, you're 40% liable. So your $1 million is now 600,000.
Dang.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Isn't there that other case in Hamilton? Was it on Maine? With the kid that got hit, and then in the hospital, cop came to the hospital to give the kid a ticket.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice, cool.
That's
Met the kid in the
so-
hospital
that
and give the kid a
is-
ticket
that's
for a ride on the
savage.
sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's crazy.
While he's recovering from
crazy.
injuries of being hit.
That's crazy.
we pay for that.
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
pay
yeah,
for
yeah,
that
yeah.
use
Hold
of
that thought,
resources.
That's right. That's right.
Hold that thought. Yeah, going back to what you were saying about like getting hit and like dealing with stuff, like the percentages and stuff. What I did when that truck driver hit me, he literally like I told him like, listen, man, you're gonna give me money, and you're gonna drive me home because I have to go to work. So this dude, like, I made him give me like $800 so I can get a new bike, and like he drove me to work. And I know that's probably like not the correct thing to do, but the way I saw it was I was fine, like I wasn't hurt or anything, and I was kind of just like, I was young, you know, like I was just aggressive, like, you know what I mean, just annoyed that happened. But like, is there, because the way I deal with certain things, kind of just like in that moment right there, like what makes sense right now, instead of like having to deal with like waiting for something to happen and like waiting for the process. Is that something that obviously you probably don't recommend, but is there something about that like
So like, I'm like really glad you're okay, Jay.
Yeah.
But like, what we see all the time, and what I myself have experienced, is that getting hit by a motor vehicle is really traumatic.
Yeah.
And it's that like,
Dude, I'm not driving because of that.
It's that like moose getting hit by a transport truck that like is too proud and walks into the woods and dies. You know, it's
Yeah.
like cyclists. This trauma happens. It's embarrassing. You're in shock.
Right.
True.
When I got hit, I like gathered a bit of information, but I was like, I didn't want to be hurt, and like adrenaline was pumping.
Yeah.
Right.
And I biked home with a broken wrist and an elbow.
Damn.
And like I see it all the time, like the adrenaline's pumping, and
Yeah.
then it's a day later, and people are like, I think I have a concussion.
Yeah.
And this is serious business, and so like we're very clear, like
Go through the
sometimes
process.
you could get
Yeah.
money quickly for your bike, but like get medical attention, get their insurance information, and then if you're fine
Yeah.
and it's just a bike replacement, great.
Yeah.
But if it's not, at least you have taken the right steps to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like what I'm noticing with myself is like I'm very careless. Like I've gotten T-boned by a bus, like a school bus, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm okay. I didn't take the driver's information down. Somebody called an ambulance for me, and I got charged for $60 for the ambulance. All for them to just like give me a
After
little
getting
what's that like for possible
Welcome to
infection,
the
like that
hospital.
shot,
Yeah.
and then that's it.
You still alive?
And see that ambulance fee is covered by the no-fault insurance. That if you got that
Oh.
information, you send the bill.
Oh, okay. So this is
but
good.
this
For,
Saved
this
you
is good to
$60,
know, everybody.
guys.
Dude, this is good to know, man. Because
I
like
hear that
I'm such like, no, I don't want to go through the process. It's too much of a hassle, kind of thing. But like, this is stuff that's good to know.
But you're not alone, Jay.
Yeah.
Like that, I hear that all the time. I didn't want to pay the ambulance fee.
Yeah,
And of course you don't know that it's covered by auto insurance, or not you, but
Yeah.
the royal you. We are cyclists, and like many of us don't drive cars. We don't have auto insurance, and even if you have
Yeah.
auto insurance, you probably don't know everything
Yeah, they're
about
connected.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or that it's connected. So yeah. No,
Okay.
I hear it all the time.
Okay,
But go
okay.
through the process. Call us up. We take calls from every cyclist.
okay.
Every day we speak to somebody, and like thankfully, most of the time I give them a bit of information, give them
Yeah.
some of our materials, and send them on their way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think Paul wanted to lighten up the mood a little bit.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh yeah, that was like
let's
half an
move
hour
on.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
lighten
about
it up.
New York
It's talking
City.
about cyclists getting knocked over and killed and stuff. So it's been a little heavy hour, right? So I mean, guess I'm curious about some funny cases, like some cases that when you think back now, it's like, what just happened? So do you have any of those that come to mind that were like so weird, so out there that was like,
Oh, I gotta be dark though. Those are the
Oh man, we dark. We like dark.
We're okay with
I think that's the Nomads After Dark video
okay with
series.
those are the ones. Those are the ones that stick out. You know, it's like people who like something happens when people get in motor vehicle collisions and they think they're gonna get in trouble.
Oh.
You may have like broken a guy's hip, but like surprise, you're not gonna get in trouble. You'll get $100 ticket maybe.
right?
You know.
Wow.
But people lie about crazy stuff. Like my own case, right? I was smart enough. I biked home like an idiot, but I was smart enough to take pictures of his license plate and the damage to the back of his car.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then years later, when our civil case, and he brought his own pictures, and he had gone to the police station to report after I told him to.
Sure.
A different one, and the picture showed the back of his car crystal clear. He had cleaned off
Everything.
the drop bar
Evidence.
mark that
Okay.
I put across there, and then
Damn.
my case settled like that because it's like, well, obviously this guy's a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see that all the
shit.
time. So like, people like think they're no, nothing. Your premiums may go up, but you could have like
Yeah.
you could have reversibly changed someone's life by injuring them, and
Wow.
nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But people lie and do all sorts of crazy stuff. I got a case out in Hamilton right now. 16-year-old driver passes my client on an uphill and hits him from behind,
On an
and my
uphill?
solid yellow, and my guy like head injury, knocked unconscious, can't remember what happened since the morning before.
Damn.
What?
And the kid is like, yeah, he swerved into me.
Dang.
Damn.
Swerved into him in the car.
Yeah, he randomly swerved into him. And that's the only testimony though, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
But I was able to grab my guy's damaged Garmin and sent it to my tech guys.
Yeah.
And just recently we pulled the data, and he did not swerve.
Looked like he was going pretty straight.
Looks pretty straight
Yeah.
to me.
Damn.
So you see that all the time. I've got some, like, sorry to be dark.
Now we're here.
This
Dark
is
is what we do.
my business.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Like, I used to be really hot in the streets, you know, and like if someone cut me
What do you mean
off-
hot, Dave?
if
You're
someone-
pretty hot now. What do you mean by really hot?
Thank you. No,
Thanks for noticing.
when,
You know what I mean?
you know,
Cue
like
slow music.
someone cuts you off, or like they're parked in the bike lane, you
Yeah.
like smash
Yeah.
the back of their car with your hand or something like that.
That's what I do.
Oh, you mean like hot-headed?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's me right now.
Yeah.
And,
You just wanted to
like,
clarify whose people we are right now.
And what I have seen transpire from those situations is I have videos of like that happening, and has been caught by like CCTV or whatever, and then drivers turning their vehicles into weapons.
Dang.
Yeah.
And running cyclists over. I've got one outside the Eaton Center where the guy, like my cyclist is standing in front of his car. He's like, "You're not going. Police are coming."
Yeah.
And then the guy backs up. And like, there's other things
Sure.
that happen, but he backs up and drives right after him, chases him onto the sidewalk. And the only reason my guy's alive is because there's a big pillar.
Oh,
But he still
damn.
fractured his back.
Yeah.
What?
Damn.
But I have this all on video, and this is just like simple traffic road rage disputes.
Jeez.
Like
Damn.
escalate like crazy.
Jeez.
So like
Damn.
I'm not perfect now. I still drop the F-bomb. You know, but I try and calm myself down. And if someone does something really egregious, I look at their license plate, I say it over and over and over in my mind, and I get to
Yeah.
the side of the road and I text it to myself and I
Sure.
report them later.
Because you're a professional.
But no one knows that.
Right. They don't know that.
When the guy hit
Damn.
me, he's like,
Damn.
"Are you a courier?" I could have said yeah and smashed his window.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, so what? Smash.
He's like, "Are you a courier?" What,
No, I'm a
What
lawyer.
does that have
Smash.
to do with anything?
I was like, "No, actually, I'm a lawyer."
I'm a lawyer. Smash.
But yeah, of course,
Yeah.
as if like I'm a working cyclist, so this somehow is my fault.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. That's so crazy, man, because I'm like that now. Like, I'll see
He's
someone
still
like
on it.
try to swerve into me, like, I'll chase them.
Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
and it's like, I shouldn't. I'm like, I got shit to lose now. But you know what? This feels kind of nice.
So I'm kind of the opposite. I'm probably the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Where, like, in my head, I'll think, "Oh, he's probably got a fucked up life. I'll let him go. He probably has much worse things happening in his life.
Yeah.
If he's this mad about me existing
That's
on a
just
bike,
very empathetic of you.
yeah, he's probably got a bad life. Or,
Yeah.
or like, I hope he has a bad life.
I feel though, because like
Somewhere
I
in
ride
between
with the
there.
camera on my bike, right?
Yeah.
I feel though, like when people see like some sort of like camera,
So right, Jay.
everyone's all of a sudden like, oh, cautious.
Totally right.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because it's like,
So right. Cycling with the camera, like I find when I rode with one up here.
Yeah.
And it like, I would like just tap and be like,
Hey guys,
yeah.
What's
change
up?
behavior.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're so right.
that's like,
Like
the bus
every
driver
time
on
I'm
The
going
Simpsons.
into like a busy
Legit.
intersection or
Sign.
something like that, I start recording, just in case. Like,
Really?
yeah,
I had that
Just-
thought
just in
just
case.
today. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
like because I have it on like I have a horn on the back on the front of my bike.
Yeah.
I'll screw it in, and it's a 360 cam. So I hit record, it just records everything around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I see what's behind me too, and like in the playback,
Yeah.
and it's just like just in case kind of thing.
Wow.
Nothing happens, delete the footage, save my memory. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But like I feel like, but that's the same thing though. Like you shouldn't have to.
No.
Like you shouldn't. It sucks that like that's such a precautionary thing that we have to
Yeah.
do and like think about is like why?
Well, even
Like,
that's
why
part of
can't I just
my-
like have my fun, like ride my bike, you know, and like not have to worry? Because the minute that we step out of the GTA and riding, everyone's avoiding us. Like everyone's like giving us enough room.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember that Montreal shot. Once I passed Bowmanville, I was surprised at how nice people were.
Yeah.
Like I stopped over on the side of the road and I was eating like 2 granola bars. And while I was stopped there were cars that were driving by and would stop after they passed me. Hey, are you good?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Shocking.
Me?
Dude, just from a
Middle of
ride
nowhere,
yesterday, man. Like we were stopped over at the corner for Ian.
Yeah.
This guy's like, hey, do you guys need
Hey, do you guys
anything?
need
Like,
help?
do you guys need like we were in Burlington?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys need can I be MacGyver or something? I was like, no, I don't think so,
Yeah, so
man.
people are just coming over to help, but then
And
in
just
Toronto,
outside
it's
of Grimsby, like
so
we're
different.
waiting at the lights. Some guys like honking his horn, like, yeah, go. I'm just like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, why are people so nice over here?
And then that happened again when we were in Niagara too.
Yeah.
People were like, yeah, go guys, go.
Yeah, and like surprisingly, as soon as you enter the city, it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck off the road.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm not even.
No love for solo cyclists, just group rides.
Yeah. Not even
I
doing
really
anything.
like to hear that. I really like to hear that.
Like, it's weird, man. Like, it sucks that you have to nowadays have some sort of recording device on you.
It's a big help.
It is.
It changes the ballgame because like there are prejudices from police to insurance companies against cyclists.
Yeah.
You'll be presumed at fault, even though the law doesn't say that. Anyway, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
But the camera really helps. I get it though; it's a hassle. I bike with one in the winter when it's like really gnarly days because that's when I know people aren't going to be looking for me. So that's
Right.
usually
Yeah.
when I bike with it now. But I'm really glad to hear those stories about outside of town. That's not my experience.
Oh, man.
I got close passed by some dude in a Mustang out in Elmira last weekend, and I it was like on an 80 road, and I could feel the heat of his car on me as he
Jesus.
passed.
Whoa.
And my dad lives up in Collingwood, and there's something about black pickups that they love to close pass you up there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got him a rear camera which he uses because
Yes.
out in the countryside the shenanigans
Yes, happens
from
behind
the
you.
back.
Behind you, yeah.
Behind.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like, we've had those as well. Like, up in Collingwood, just last year actually, or 2 years ago, we were riding, and it was maybe like 6 o'clock. It's like I forget what road we were on, but it was a 2-lane,
Yeah.
like
20.
broken yellow line.
Okay.
We're on our lane. This dude decided to pass another car in front of him
Oh,
coming
wow,
towards
yes.
us, and just swerves into our lane just to pass this one car. But he was like really close. And I'm like, bro, it's like you had room, like you had
Yeah.
room, bro. Like
We had a
just
close
wait
yesterday.
Yeah.
On North Service with a guy with a trailer,
Yeah.
and possibly he could have known that he was clear, but his trailer wasn't.
Yeah.
And so his trailer kind of
It's
swerved in and
Yeah.
almost got us.
Yeesh.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's-
that was just
those are
yesterday.
scary.
I won't go dark, but there's cases on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are scary, man. Bring us a little lighter. What's your favorite ride?
Oh. Okay. In Toronto.
He's like
Intro-
Hamilton.
let's go in Toronto and then just like all time.
I know, bro. I know.
In Toronto, I really I mean, biking on Toronto Island is always such a treat.
Yes.
But right now, I've got this loop where I go out to Tommy Thompson. There's like a gravel
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
on the outside of the island, or
Instead of the
point.
bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I come back and I go I get connected to Taylor Creek.
Yes.
And then down to Brickworks.
Yes.
And up to the cemetery, and then across
Beltline.
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 And it's just fantastic.
That's
That's
a good
an
one.
awesome.
Yeah, you
Wait,
call
when you
it,
do
man.
it in that direction, you should
go-
try it the other way.
Because he's a
I like-
boss, man. He doesn't need free speed. Okay, okay, he's been around. Okay,
He's like, I like the
Yeah.
suffer.
I like that hill from Brickworks up to the cemetery.
just gonna
through
say-
the, through those
like
Like
same
it.
one, like same one. It's beautiful no
Yeah.
matter which
That's crazy.
direction. You know what I'm saying?
I love that hill the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He happens to come from that side though. It just
Yeah.
so happens. I'm on the other side, and I ride around Castlefield, and then I come around because
I love Beltline, but in the eastbound direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Eastbound
that
is
gets
nice.
into the the cemetery, and then down into
Well,
Brickworks.
dude, speaking of that gravel trail on the outside of Tom and Thompson,
Yeah.
they really need to repaint those the speed bumps.
Repaint them, please.
Yeah.
So
Or get rid of them entirely.
they are wildly dangerous.
Yeah,
and,
dude. That was on a sprint, and I almost like
my good
flew.
friend did his collarbone, or did their collarbone.
Damn.
And at that time, when they hit it, I don't think they were painted at all.
They're not. They're still
But
not.
now they
On the
put
gravel
a little
side.
bit of paint.
No.
on the gravel
Still
side.
no. No, dude. Just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was like on a
Yeah,
sprint.
that's what he recorded.
Yeah, and then like I didn't see, but I felt it. Like felt my bike go up, and then my back wheel go up, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" And I was on the drops.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yo,
No.
they have the sign, but it's kind of like
I don't think
wind
they're-
swept away kind of thing.
I
Like
don't even think they're like they feel like really aggressive speed bumps. They
They're
don't feel
not.
like regulation.
they're just like regular.
Can I ask, Who are those speed bumps for exactly?
Us.
The nature conserve people.
No. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who put them there, but like, who are they designed for?
I
Cyclists?
think it's for us.
Really?
think, eh?
I think it's for us.
Huh.
Well,
Really?
people don't want us doing, more than 20K.
Time
there,
trials.
right?
I get it, but
So
that's still.
Oh, but speaking of that, what is up with the 20 kilometers? Who decided that 20 kilometers is pretty easy? Like one pedal stroke, you're at 20 kilometers. Like,
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
you know what I mean? Like,
Not a cyclist.
yeah, like who decided that that's the speed limit for cyclists in the city?
bean
Like,
counter.
Well, I mean, I think it's 30 in some places. But yeah, Hyde Park is obviously notoriously 20 kilometers.
crazy.
What's the MGT? What's
25.
20. No, 20.
Is it 20?
20.
20 flat.
20 flat.
Oh, I guess I'm
20
in trouble.
plus tax?
I guess I'm in trouble.
20.99.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's such a weird like number. Because
I
if
mean-
anyone who rides a bike, it's like, dude, that's like an easy 1-2 pedal stroke. You're at 20. Like,
Yeah. I think like the MGT, like parts of it down by like as soon as you pass Bathurst going eastbound.
Yeah.
It should be that speed because
It's busy.
busy down there.
It's
but
busy.
It's a multi-use pass, so everybody
Yeah.
can use it. And until there's separate, that area should have a separate bike area, separate running area, and separate pedestrian area.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh man, dude! Like,
That'd be awesome.
as soon as you go past Young, there's a sidewalk, and then there's the bike lane, the MGT.
Yeah.
Everyone's still on the bike lane.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
dude, get off.
Yeah. That's
But
why.
I think it's a multi. I used to get cheesed about that too, and then I like started like looking at it. I think it's actually multi-use.
It's still a
It's
multi-use.
multi-use.
And so
Damn.
I'd be like, why is this runner in my bike lane? And I'm
Oh,
like,
we
no,
hate
no,
runners.
It's still a
not.
multi-use.
It's not a
Yeah.
bike lane. I'm the jerk. Yeah.
Yeah. So to avoid that, I like just going on
On
Queens
the
Quay.
road.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta use
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
avoid all that mess. And
It's
even
just-
on Queens Quay, I get like people that are walking,
Yeah.
so you can't really avoid it.
And
Screwed
just
up on
like
the
shitty
beach.
drivers.
Yeah.
Man. So, favorite all-time ride? Like route, trail, that like you like to treat yourself to.
Oof.
I like, there's like a really easy mountain bike loop up near where I grew up. And like that's where I learned to ride bikes, and I
Oh,
like
nostalgia.
rode bikes with my
For
dad
sure.
and my
Oh, yes.
dogs
Okay.
through there. And there was this one part that like looked like the Endor scene on Star Wars.
Oh
That we
shit!
call Return of the Jedi, and that
No, I gotta check that out.
Post the
Oh,
route.
Dude, I love
Post
Star
the
Wars.
route.
I know.
Yep.
Is that like a mountain bike trail,
Like,
or is
it
that
is,
like
yeah,
it
yeah,
is?
yeah.
Okay, see, dude, mountain bikes.
Nah, man,
like-
gravel bikes.
you could easily take a gravel bike on that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Nah, man, still roadie.
Steel roadies.
Roadies.
Steel roadies.
Man's living in the past.
That's so awesome.
That's wicked, man. It's a short route too.
Yeah, it's like at the top of Georgian Peak Ski Hill, and it's just
Okay.
like a loop. It's like
That's awesome.
And I took our kid there, and that's where she did her first mountain bike.
That's
Oh, wow.
wicked, man.
Pass it down. Nice.
That's wicked. What about you, Paul? Favorite all time?
Favorite all time.
Yeah.
That's such a tough one now, honestly. It's somewhere in that Montreal trip was when I was along the like Thousand Islands Trail,
Oh, okay.
and that was like it was surprisingly beautiful. But a part of it was because I've done that Toronto to Montreal drive so often that you didn't really get to stop and like look at shit.
Yeah.
And so doing it on bike was just this is awesome.
Yeah.
And so the whole trip was nice, but especially that like Thousand Islands Park stretch that was like
Okay.
really nice. So I do have to do that again sometime.
Yeah. Ian?
Anytime.
Yeah, I'll call you, don't worry.
I knew it was coming to me. I don't know. I'm more amazed about, selfishly, what I've been able to accomplish on a bike. Period.
Yeah.
I don't know about my favorite ride yet. Still a lot
Or
of.
like favorite trail or something like that you always just like.
You know
go to all
what?
the
Coming
time.
from the east side,
Beltline.
the Beltline's genius, of course. There is a stretch of road, East Mall, by the
Okay.
by the highway. I've ride all the way across the hell that is Eglinton
Yeah.
just to get to East Mall and just like enjoy the road. I don't know what it is about that this small stretch of
Yeah.
2-lane road, but it's beautiful and it
Yeah.
just feels
Nice.
like that's how all roads should be.
Yeah.
So that's probably for me right now.
Nice, man. Mine is like Tommy. I love Tommy. Like I've been riding there for so long. Like,
Yeah, a lot of variety there too.
like because I started riding, like I've always been cycling, right? So like that's how I got around the city all the time. And then when I found out about Tommy, I was just like riding my bike and I saw a lighthouse. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's good.
can I go up there? And it's like, so I started riding my bike. I was like, oh shit, this is so cool. I got off and started exploring the lighthouse.
Yeah.
And it's like the most cool thing.
Yeah.
I wish I can just like trespass and like climb the lighthouse.
A lot of people
Probably could.
Probably could, right?
Probably could, yeah.
But then now I'm more worried about like staph infections
Yeah.
soft.
and like
Yeah.
getting scratched by stuff, and then like all the
Hepatitis is
needles.
pretty serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But I think my second favorite is the bluffs.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait a minute.
the top of the bluffs. It's,
Okay.
it's just like the trail, like by the
Okay.
soccer field,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
you can just ride your bike there and just like
Yes.
explore like not even a kilometer,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
like you just ride your bike and it's you're just
Beautiful.
the out.
Totally.
You're just
I
at the
know
top of the
exactly what
escarpment
you're
there, and
talking
it's
about.
like it's the best.
Yeah, top of the bluff, super fun. Bottom,
Yeah.
not so fun.
Bottom sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then afterwards, going like to Pickering is pretty nice. Like Pickering Ajax is pretty nice,
I haven't ridden
Scarborough.
that way.
especially no, but on the MGT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That trail is nice. Like
Yeah.
I never whenever I go that way, I never take the road. I
No,
always take
from
the
like
trail.
Guildwood, you'd go
Yeah.
straight on the MGT. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
Guildwood
really
is a
nice.
nice stretch.
Yep.
It's such a nice stretch, but I always get lost because the entrance to the trail is in between two houses.
And now it's and now part of that's under
That throws me
construction.
off too.
Yeah, I'm like literally like looping around. These kids are looking at me weird, like, oh, is he like checking us
go
out?
for
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah.
no, man, I'm lost. I'm lost.
And now there's construction there too. So when you get to that bridge just before Guildwood,
Yeah.
you have to go right.
Oh
And so
man,
you can't continue on the trail anymore. So then you end up going north all the way up towards like Morningside and
yeah, it's weird.
UTSC and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
weird. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But there's that trail. It goes as soon as you go into that trail to between the two houses.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant downhill,
Yes.
like into Ajax.
Yes.
And
I've
then,
gone
like-
up that hill.
Yes, same. Because I had to go home.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
You
don't
never
wanna
done
know
that
it.
one?
Okay.
It's
You don't
fun,
wanna
man.
know
We'll
it.
go east. We'll go east, and we'll
problem.
take that trail. It's really fun. Yeah,
I've,
man.
I've gone like from the top of the bluffs, like you're talking, then down through it, and then what's that like? It's like a Scarborough institution. Like people get wedding pictures and stuff there.
Oh, like Bluffers Park.
Bluffers Park. No.
The beaches.
No, it's like a building and grounds.
Oh, yeah. It's near.
The Guildwood
It's
Inn.
near Guildwood.
Goodwood.
Something.
Guildwood Inn.
Yeah, it has like
Literally the-
arches and
yeah.
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yes,
Goodwood.
Guildwood Inn.
That's kind of as far as
Yeah.
I've looped out there. I haven't gone Ajax or anything.
Yeah, behind that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
that's
a
really
part,
nice.
like a museum or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And that's like an
until-
event
I
space.
didn't-
Yeah,
Like a big event space where you
it's
can park
cool,
and
man.
stuff.
I like
Yeah.
Guildwood. It's nice. What's the longest ride you've done?
Well, now you're getting personal.
Maybe
Yeah, that's what we taxes first.
honestly, maybe like I've done a big long mountain bike one ages ago, but last summer was the longest KMs in a while, and I did 164
Off-road?
at the
Wow.
Hurton for Halliburton.
Oh,
It's like
Yeah.
that is hurting for sure.
it's a 28K loop of gravel.
Oh, it's a loop.
And with lots of climbing, and you do as many loops as you can in 8 hours.
Yikes.
Oh, God,
It is-
dude.
That's
it's-
beef.
It's like a race.
I don't
but it's
like this.
Such a good vibe.
Damn.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you can
8
go
hour
do one
race.
loop, have a lunch, go do another.
Take a
It's
nap.
not like people are just chilling, and people enter teams. So
Yes.
your teammate does a loop, you take a
Like a
break. and
relay.
then- yeah, exactly. But I did 6 loops maybe that's 5, whatever I did,
Savage.
which was my most.
That's savage, though.
And then
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna try and do more this year.
Attaboy.
That's sick, man.
164. Yikes.
Oof.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's good.
You did Montreal. Oh no, not in one go. I mean, in
No,
one
my,
go.
my longest in one goal was 189. It was that day that we did, like, we ended up on Taunton and, that whole mess.
Yeah.
A lot of people,
And
biggest
then
ride was that one.
At the end of that day, like, we went out to, like, a bar.
Yeah.
And then I still had to ride home
Yeah.
after. And that was so that was 189. But by the time I got home and I had the thought, I was like, I could get another 11. But like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have
Nothing
just
left.
done it.
Nothing left. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, maybe 6 beers in, and 189, including Taunton climb and all that. So I could not.
Damn.
That's
So I
great.
had to
mean,
stop
man,
there.
That's awesome.
Oh, this guy's like 200.
The same one.
The
Same
same
day.
one.
Yeah.
dude.
Same day,
The same
Jay
day.
and I were like, you know what? we should probably go for some bonus Ks. So we rode it to Tommy Thompson, went there for the sunrise, came back to Jay's, did the ride, and it was like 2:15 by the time we came back from.
That's crazy.
That was gross.
That's crazy.
An accidental 250.
Yeah, that day, that whole day was just
That
a
was
lot.
just a mess, man.
You know, a lot of snacks.
Dude, and we started that at my place because we had
You
breakfast.
started at your place.
Yeah.
We
He's
started
like,
at
I hosted a
Scarborough.
breakfast at my place for the club, right?
Okay.
So like I made pancakes and everything, like,
Oh my
and then we
God.
just went up to east. We just went east.
Yeah, because the loop was
Yeah.
Oshawa,
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Oshawa. That
where
was
we
a
ended
fun
up
ride.
in the back of Oshawa City Center.
I thought it was.
Which I don't
thought it was a
recommend.
mall.
Yeah.
I thought it was a mall.
I don't recommend
It
as a
wasn't mall.
tourist stop. There's not much there. And then we came back along Taunton because on the map it doesn't look that rough.
No,
But
It's just flat on the map, but
yeah,
the
but it's
elevation-
actually
it is not
like
flat.
5 kilometers of straight climbing,
Yeah.
and the climbs that have like the turns in it too, and so it just keeps going.
false flats.
And then you end up on Steeles where there's more climbing, and then we're in Scarborough where there was somehow more climbing.
Yeah.
I think you're advertising this to him because he seems to like he seems to enjoy this. He's like, really more
Climb.
climbing.
So
Oh, really? Mm.
What does the club have planned for the summer?
Ooh. So in terms of plans for the club this summer, I think the way the club is set up in terms of riding is that we have our goals. And we just try to bring people in to those
Yeah.
to accomplish those goals with us.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how the club started. Like it started like 2021, I turned 30. I'm like, I don't want to party. I want to accomplish a goal. So I sent out an invitation on Instagram to like just publicly. And then like 5 people came. That's the first time I met him. And then we just started riding more together. Like we went to Guelph,
What was that goal?
ride to Niagara. Because I've never done it before.
Just jumping right in.
Yeah.
You tell him he's jumping in, you're jumping in with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then he joined us to Burlington, and it was literally my second longest ride, because 2 weeks before my first longest ride was to Burlington and back, with my homie that I met for the very first time in person because we were just playing games online.
Yeah, sure.
So I convinced him to buy a bike. He bought a hybrid. I had a single speed bike, and we're like, yeah, let's go to Burlington together.
Yeah, nice.
We went. 2 weeks later, same thing. Let's go to
Nice.
Niagara for my birthday. And what did that on my single speed, climbed the escarpment.
Yeah.
Sucked. I walked like
Totally.
3/4 of the way up.
Have done it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. But then like we did Niagara 3 times that year.
Wow.
And by the 3rd time, I was able to climb the entire escarpment on my single speed
Yeah,
bike.
good.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
Good.
Yeah, that's an achievement
So
for sure.
for the club, that's kind of our the thing that we do is like we have a goal to do Niagara and back.
Yeah.
So that's like the end of the season goal, right? In between, he wants to do 200. I want to do 200, right? So we kind of plan that and then post it and see who wants to come.
Sure.
Pretty much.
So we don't really have like rides planned out. We have goals that we want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And essentially, if people want to accomplish those goals with us, that's perfect. But regardless, we're going to do it.
Sure.
It's just the more people there, the better and the more fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's how I see our club being.
One thing that is on the menu is a Hamilton chapter.
Yes.
Part of me selfishly moving to Hamilton is to bring some of that kind of club energy with me.
Yeah.
And I've been bringing it up to people out there too, and people seem excited and down for it. So, yeah, the idea is to also set up some group riding out there in Hamilton as Nomad Cycling Club.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're going to have a website soon. Bought the domain. Woo!
Hell yeah.
So, soon we're going to be online. And, yeah, just kind of getting more people on that same agenda.
Yeah.
We met achieving goals, and so maybe
Yeah.
help some others.
Totally.
And like for us, like we call ourselves a club, but like yeah, we're just literally just a group of friends just having fun, hanging out all the time, and just like chilling, talking. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of clubs where they just meet on rides,
Yep.
and it's like nah,
Yeah,
we
we do
do
a little more
this,
than that.
we
You're
talk.
podcasting together.
Yeah,
much,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
we want to achieve goals together. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Plus, I feel like there's some legal reason that we have to differentiate from calling ourselves a cycling club.
Yeah.
Because we don't currently have club insurance. So,
Yeah.
Also
can
this.
you elaborate on that? Like, do clubs need to be insured?
That's a question better suited for Ontario Cycling, who
True.
we're very good friends with.
We'll bring them on.
So if you're doing okay, it's very complicated to answer. If
We know.
if you're doing rides, yes, exactly, and you're leading rides, like, is there some liability, and could you benefit from insurance? Yeah, probably. You know, are there ways to mitigate that risk? Yeah, there are. The reality is, waiver or not, club or not, if something happens, someone like me, not me, not
Yeah.
me,
Not
No,
me.
not
someone like me
Not him.
is
Not-
going to sue you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that, in that sense, then, okay, well, if you had the insurance through Ontario Cycling or the bicycle broker or something like that, then yeah, you would have a protection.
Okay.
But that's sort of one of the benefits of the club formalization
Right.
Oh,
process.
okay.
But you know,
Yeah,
I get why, like, that's also prohibitive.
It is.
And stops and rules and regulations can stop organic growth in our communities,
Yes,
and we don't
yes.
support that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
In addition to cost, I think is probably the other kind of stop, because we don't really want to create any barriers to access. Like, we're really trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be that open and inclusive club. So, yeah, to assign a cost to joining a Nomads ride is like a bit weird for us.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
You could probably get away with just having a waiver.
right.
That when people say, yeah, I'm coming on the ride, you flip it to them, they say they've read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do they need to sign that waiver?
Preferably, yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the eyebrows like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Really should. Yeah.
Can't we just like read something and like, by the way, we're not liable?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Check-
mean,
check-
Nod your head for
click
yes.
here.
yeah, you would just want confirmation of more than just
Yeah.
Jay seeing that happen. You want, you want EA
Yeah.
involved to see that, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good stuff to know because we want to legitimize a little bit.
Yeah, we're in process, and that's the
Yeah.
other kind of behind the scenes things that as a club we're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's that part, it's the online part, it's the, like, with this growth into the Hamilton area, that's the idea of creating a kind of a scalable model for more possible chapters in the
Yeah.
future, and understanding more about what a membership is and what we'd give a membership. We've talked about, like, merchandising, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the process of formalizing
Yeah.
these kinds of things. I heard that you know somebody that does designs and stuff, so
Yeah.
if we can discuss
Speaking of
that,
design,
but-
because the way I see it is like
Speaking of,
we try to model. Well, I try to model the club kind of like as a motorcycle club where there's a hierarchy, and then like this is the plan. This is what we want to do.
Okay.
We'll go there together. We can bring people in from other places, or like we join other clubs and like hang out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, the hierarchy part, and for the most part, I feel like it works because like, you know, we'll have our navigator, which is Paul right now, and Ian soon to be, and then like leading rides, and then well, there's always going to be that support,
Yeah.
and like we want to bring people in, and then you know just have another chapter to go to,
Sure.
like when we're in Hamilton or something, we have a clubhouse that we can just like hang out at or like
Yeah.
make a pit stop in.
which is currently my garage,
Yeah,
on top of
right.
the hill.
So
on top of the escarpment.
the way I see it is like, yeah, if we're gonna try to model like somewhat of a motorcycle club, I want something cool, like
Yeah,
like
insurance
a
not cool
gilet.
apparently.
like a gilet with like nomads on the back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like
totally.
you can just wear that instead of just like committing to a jersey
Insured rider.
Insured with nomads. Oh God.
and just like have
You are on
that,
camera.
and, we're gonna be talking about those designs and how we can get those
I
that
like
apparel going.
I like the
The
did you
gilet?
say gilet? Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
The
idea.
vest.
Yeah.
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 The vest is people can wear what they want underneath.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that
You don't have to
idea.
commit to the jersey. You can just wear that, wear what you want underneath,
Yeah.
and then have it be breathable and functional if you want. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
that's gonna be in the works, man. I want that
Manifesting,
Nomads patch.
manifesting.
Hell yeah.
Manifesting.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Do you guys have any closing questions for Dave?
I do have one question.
sure.
Yes.
You know, you've been so entrenched with the cycling community. First of all, I appreciate that as a new cyclist, how much you've impacted not just people who cycle, but informing people who want to get into the cycling community. I really love that. What's your aspiration for new cyclists or people who are just coming into the cycling community?
Let me say, like, we put ourselves out there a lot, and
Yes.
so hearing that from you and from my community members is like the most validating and humbling thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we hear it, and so thank you. That's like, it makes me know that we keep going, and we keep giving them help. So thanks. Yeah, I mean, like, we talk about mayhem and death, unfortunately, a lot because it's like our business. But like, I see what I see, but I still ride. I rode here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I rode this morning.
Yes.
I ride everywhere. Cycling is how I fell in love with the city of Toronto. It's how I learned the city of Toronto.
Yes.
Same.
I lived here. I moved here and didn't bike because I was like, this is nuts. Why would I bike here? For 6 years, and then finally picked up the bike again and started riding, and like, it opened up a whole new
Yes,
thing
absolutely.
to me.
Dude, I hear that all the time from new cyclists.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's liberating.
So
I
true.
run on my schedule.
Yeah.
I've used it to, for simple things like day-to-day stuff, to get to work and save money, like when I didn't have a lot of money. I've used it in protests to help form barriers, and it's like such a tool for personal fulfillment, happiness, like to temper your own mental health issues and things like that. Like, I'm a recovering addict, and so like being able to jump on
Amazing.
my bike and like and get out some of that
Yes.
That's awesome.
aggression, I guess, is great. So
Yeah.
what we want new cyclists to do is like grab a bike and get on it in whatever way you feel safe. And
Yes.
if that's just like in a parking lot near your house, if that's where you start, if it's only on trails, that's what fine too. If it's only on side streets, just do it.
Yeah.
It's like such a key to my happiness, and I'm sure everybody at this table.
Sure.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I think that's preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy sell.
Yeah.
That's how I started exploring the city, man. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as I learned how to ride a bike, my blocks just kept going longer and
Exactly.
longer, and next thing I know, I'm in another city.
You're down alleyways that you didn't know existed,
Yeah.
and like, all these like all these houses that are connected by alleyways on the west side, and I'm sure it's the same on the east, where all the garages are.
Yep.
And you've
Yeah.
got these like there's graffiti everywhere.
murals
It's
and stuff,
fantastic.
We still have to do that graffiti right
It's
now.
all right.
Yeah,
I already have it mapped
graffiti
out.
tour, you know?
Yeah.
I already have it mapped out. It's
We're-
already
Nice.
right, and I already made the promo 2 years ago. Put a wig on for it and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's already mapped out. We just have to do it.
So if that's something you might be interested in,
Graffiti
got-
tour?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm coming.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Awesome. That's so amazing.
You got one person.
I know, right?
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Let's go.
Paul, any closing questions?
No. I think we talk often. Sure, we'll see each other often.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Do you have
Good
any
to
questions
see
for
ya.
us?
Well, I wanted to know what Nomads was gotten up to, and I like the Gile idea. I like the graffiti tour. I'm keen on seeing both of those things. What do you guys love about cycling?
What do we love about cycling? Oh, man.
Oh, I got one already.
Go.
How
you
it's
start.
connected me to the community at large.
Yes.
I mean, before cycling, volleyball was my sport. I don't know how, so the shortest guy here, but it's something that I love. I know Paul was also connected to that as well, but we never crossed paths
Yeah.
until we started riding bikes.
You realize, oh, you play too? Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it was being able to connect with another community that was outside of my doorstep that I didn't really see.
Fantastic.
It wasn't really visible to me until I got on my bike, and when I did, it really opened my eyes to the other people around me, and what affects cyclists, because I was a driver for all intents and purposes, and as much as I advocated for cycling for like health reasons, the mental game changer that it brought to me is something that I want to share with everyone I know.
Yeah.
And
I
so
guess
for me, that's the biggest impact of cycling.
for me, it's a lot in the same. the word that comes to mind is support,
Yes.
because my foray into this was purely Instagram based when I decided to do that Montreal ride as a goal ride. And
So I found them.
putting that on Instagram and saying, all right, I don't know who's going to follow this. Personally, I didn't think anybody would even care, but I was like, let's just try this. And just putting that out there and people were like following, and people were asking questions about it and stuff, and people were actually supportive of everything. They don't know me, but they were supportive of everything that I was doing in preparation for that Montreal ride.
Yes.
And then through that, I also got to know people like Jay, right? And like so many other people that I talk to regularly on Instagram about cycling. And then I started meeting these people in person. And then we started going out for rides in person. And then the way that all built it's unreal for me.
Very organic.
Because up until then, I had no idea how that would even work. Like somebody meeting on Instagram, that's an odd concept. And now I totally get that, but also the cycling community as a whole has just been so welcoming to me as a person, and it's welcoming to each other. It's a great feeling. It really is. So that's why I'm still in it. And then I also started looking like them too, with the hat, the tight shorts and all that shit.
No idea what you're talking about.
The socks.
Right, so I was against all that too, and then slowly, that's why they get the shorts. Oh, that's why they get the shoes. That's why they get the. And so, just falling into it, I ended up just falling in love with it. I've always been on bikes, but it's the social aspect, the community aspect that really sucked me in.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Like for me, I've always been like cycling. Like I'd gone to like Ajax before on my own, just following the Martin Garrett, like the Lawrence, like the Lakeshore Trail.
Okay.
Just like following these little dots on street posts. And I'm like, I always loved the adventure part of cycling.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's how I got out.
Yeah.
Like I looked up, like where can I go? Can I ride around Lake Ontario? And then I saw that trail online, and then I started following it. I'm like, where am I going? And then I see the little circle on a street lamp or something with an arrow. And it takes you through the neighborhoods, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Where's the next one? For me, it felt like a video game.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, cool, follow the arrow, go here, go here. And then as I got older, I kept on doing it. My friends were like, oh, why are you always biking? Like, you know what I mean? Get a car. Like, I like biking. Now, as I got older, and my friends are seeing the stuff that I'm doing with the community. Now they're asking me about bikes, and they're like, oh, I want to ride with you guys. You know what I mean? And like,
great.
my manager, the owner of this place, he's like, oh, next time I want to ride with you guys. I'm looking to get a bike to, like, you know what I mean? And
It's contagious.
yeah, it's just like people see the effects that it had, not just on myself, but like the people around me.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Like just for our barbecue, his girl, who he said would never want to ride like a non-electric bike, was on a bicycle, and she had a good time. And I was like, man, that's awesome. So like seeing him impact his wife to want to ride a bike, it's fucking cool, man. Like,
I really like what you said, like the gaming to the adventure of it. Like that really makes a lot of sense. I love that so much.
Yeah, because like how far can I go?
Following the
Like,
dots, I get that. So
yeah,
that's really cool.
And so for me, I'm never gonna not ride a bike.
Yeah.
Like I'm a power lifter. Like I've been lifting, but like I'm always on a bike as well. And that was always something that I did. Like as soon as I learned how to ride a bike, like I just want to go out.
Although I also will point out that I do still love, the look on the face and the reactions that I get to some people when I describe to them, oh, we just rode
first.
to Niagara.
Dude, yesterday. Like,
People just lose it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause some people just absolutely don't understand it. And a part of me likes being kind of the gateway to this world,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? That, oh no, we put on our underwear and ride to
Yeah.
150 kilometers.
Or for people just saying like that's possible, like you can do that, like you can like, just go on the highway. It's like no, there's like little cool trails.
Yeah.
You can see the lake.
Yeah, I
You know,
have
you
friends in
can get to
Innisfil that
neighborhoods.
were like, one day that we were joking, and this is my first year of riding kind of like this, and one day we were joking, well, you just ride up here from Toronto up to Innisfil. Well, you should just ride up. And then 2
You
weekends
do it.
later, rode up. Right?
It's like okay.
Yeah, and they were like, everybody was like completely dumbfounded at the idea that you could even do this thing. So there's a part of it also that is, I find that cool too.
Yeah.
That there's this cool thing I know about
Something that seems impossible.
Right?
Right.
I get that for sure.
Yeah, because like yesterday we had the plan to go to Niagara, You dropped out, but still made it, which is fucking awesome.
You
like,
did
I love
do
the
Niagara
circle.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Oh,
didn't.
bro. You did.
Well,
I got to St. Catharines.
St. Catharines. In the initial grouping, I made it.
Yeah.
He dropped off at St. Catharines, and he made it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
it was a
because-
series of events.
Yeah, a series of events led to that.
Like I had an hour
split.
of sleep the night before because I was working the club.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like you woke up 5 a.m. like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
We met, and then I had to work later that night. So like my manager was like, oh shit, you made it. I was like, yeah. I was like, dude, how?
I told you.
He's like, how? Like you just went to St. Catharines, bro. Like I'm like, yeah, but I have to work. Like I got bills to pay. My friends
Yeah,
are like,
yeah.
dude, I can't believe you did that. I was like,
That's a long day.
It's fun. Like, you know, it's something that
Yeah.
you want to do. Like I didn't get home till 3 a.m. last night. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was like still tired, but it's one of those things
Yeah.
that when people see that it looks impossible and then they see you
Then they see
doing
you
something,
do it. Yeah.
that's the cool
Yeah.
part for me. It's like, yes.
I get that. I
Yeah.
do the winter cycling in really.
winter cycling.
It makes
Yes.
me feel that way.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
I look
winter
at these
cycling,
guys
yeah.
like you guys are wild.
Yes.
I'll ride out every now
Yeah.
and then when the roads are kind of clear enough,
Yeah.
but like only to Tommy and then
Yeah.
back home. Just, but not like the entire Tommy because they never maintain those
Sure,
roads.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just go to the washroom and get warm and then go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but these
Jeez.
guys ride in the winter all the time.
Yeah,
They're
the
talking
winter cycle. The
about-
winter cycle is part of how we met too.
Yeah,
Because as part of that Montreal prep, I was riding through the winter because I was making the assumption that if I block 10 days to get to Montreal, I'm probably going to hit some bad weather.
yeah,
So let me just deal with this winter thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and then that'll help in the long run. And a lot of people were interested in like the fact that I was just riding for fun in the winter, not
like a
commuting,
psychopath.
just for fun, and through pads and stuff too, right? And even sometimes I'd wipe out, but I had it on camera.
Yeah, yeah.
So post a camera shot of me wiping out and like.
Yeah,
Those are fun.
All right, I have to ask now. I know it's a little early, but since you're a winter warrior, like a few of us here at the table,
yeah.
what's your big key to riding in inclement weather?
Goggles.
No
Goggles?
kidding.
Like snowboard.
I've seen
goggles?
some of people. I've
Yeah.
seen the ski
Goggles.
goggles.
It's the only
Yeah.
thing you need.
What?
Really?
Wow.
Well, I've seen those. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for
makes
goggles.
sense.
But
First time I've heard it from somebody.
wow,
That makes
I've
sense.
seen it.
I
but
was shocked
yeah.
that was it. I was like, studded tires. Studded
Without,
tires.
without question, goggles. Love it.
Fenders. No,
The
no, no. A
wind, your
jacket.
eyes, when your
Goggles.
eyes are
Goggles.
cold,
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
get stuck.
And it like keeps a big chunk of your face warm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great.
Wow.
You know, the second thing would be like let some air out of your tires.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
I did,
Yes. I've
yeah.
heard of that. Yes.
Okay.
In the rain, especially. Of
Yes.
course. Yes.
But that's yeah.
Wow.
Goggles.
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 How do you keep it clean? In like.
Wipe it.
I mean, they're ski goggles. They're for
They're
That's
for
what they're
winter.
for.
snow. They're not like
Yeah.
getting covered with stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if it's slushy or rainy, then I just take my finger
Sure.
and my
Yeah.
glove and
Goggles.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what they're made
Okay.
I
for,
mean,
man.
It's going down, I guess.
'Cause I've
Next
never
year.
heard an actual explanation for it. You're right. I've seen people
Yeah.
with it, but I've never actually heard an explanation for why.
oh, that's great. Yeah.
Goggles.
Yeah, I've seen a handful of people that I
Yeah.
follow that are riding throughout the winter, and yeah, they're full on, that like the ski helmet and goggle
And goggles.
combo.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I mean, the ski helmet. There's different. Like a bike helmet
Yes.
is different than a ski helmet. So
Yes.
be careful on like
Sure.
what helmet you buy. But you can get bike helmets that have because
Yes.
people bike in the winter that
Yes.
have clips that
Yes.
are
Yeah.
easy. Like the helmet I wore here isn't
Yes.
my winter. Like I don't because it doesn't fit my goggles.
right,
But I have another helmet for that.
right.
Yeah.
Like a mountain or a trail helmet that has that setup. Is that what
No,
you're
it's
talking
just
about?
one of those like bell
That has for the
The commuter one, the commuter
Oh,
like
helmets.
it's like
Yeah,
round,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just
The
got a
commuter
flat
helmet.
enough surface at the back that
Ah,
my
I
thing
see.
it doesn't. There's no clip or nothing. It just sits back there.
It just
Oh,
sits
nice,
perfect.
okay.
It's flat back there.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Wow.
And I
All
love
right.
pulling up to a traffic stop with my goggles and putting them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Chelsea to a race.
wow.
Ding ding.
This is awesome, man.
Okay.
Well, Dave, dude, I know you got the rest of your day to go by. You got to rest.
Thank
I,
you.
like,
You
my
gotta
bedtime
rest,
these
man.
days is 8:00.
Yeah.
So I
So we
really
gotta wrap
appreciate
this up, yeah.
the time.
Dude, thank you for coming, man. Thank you for
for
doing
coming.
this.
Thanks
Sure.
for
It's really
having
Oh
me.
awesome.
my goodness. Thank you so very
Yeah,
much.
you guys appreciate it.
Guys, this is another episode of the Wheel Talk podcast. Hope you liked it. If you guys have any questions for Dave or us, hit us up, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
There you go.
check out Dave. If you have any, law questions, especially inquiries for, when you're cycling and stuff, hit him up, man. This is awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
Instagram handles. And then where they can leave your shout outs.
We're at the Biking Lawyer on everything.
Hey.
At the Biking Lawyer on everything. We'll leave that down there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect, guys.
See you on the next one.
Thank you. Peace.
Thanks.
Yep.
Perfect.